Krov. We will now go to Simon Ateba from Today News Africa. Simon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. My name is Simon Ateba from Today News Africa in Washington, D.C. And my question goes to the Managing Director of the IMF, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva. From Lagos in Nigeria to Johannesburg in South Africa, and even to Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Africans who have been forced to stay home are complaining about hunger. Many of them say that hunger may kill them faster than even the coronavirus. The WHO Director General recently said the IMF and the World Bank should grant debt relief to developing countries, including African countries, to provide food to their citizens and curb the spread of the coronavirus. Can you guarantee here today that you will pay special attention to African nations to contain this pandemic by granting debt relief to African nations before it's too late? Thank you.
Well, I want to thank very much for this question. It is the continent we at the IMF worry a lot about. There has been a momentum built in Africa. Africa has been growing, and many countries have done really well in recent years, and we are risking to lose this momentum and even worse, to reverse it. And therefore, it is hugely important to provide substantial financial support to Africa. And we do it in two ways. One, we are scaling up emergency financing. And I can tell you that yesterday our board approved emergency financing for Rwanda. And today, 2 more African countries are going to be in discussion for approval. Our objective is to double what normally is being provided as emergency financing. And we do that in very highly concessional terms, with a big component of this financing being de facto grant component. We do so because we recognize that many governments are faced with this dilemma. Do they provide support to people to simply survive? Do they fight the virus? And we want this to be a false dilemma. We want them to have, for the next months, substantial financial resources so they can step up their support for people against the pandemic and their support for the economy. In many cases, informal economy that requires social safety nets to be strengthened to help people. 2, we do see the issue of debt as one that has to be addressed urgently. For us at the IMF, what it means is that for our poorest members, we are raising grant financing to cover their dues to the IMF. It is called Catastrophe Containment Relief Trust, and we have been getting support from the UK, Japan, and others, so we can do what you're saying, provide that relief vis-a-vis our own obligations. Beyond that, we are also calling on official creditors to countries, either countries, many of those are countries in Africa, to provide much needed space for countries to address their immediate priorities by a standstill on debt service to official creditors for a period of 1 year. And I can tell you that I have been in touch with many of the leaders in Africa. I know how important it is right now to stand up and support Africa, build a bridge over what is such a dramatic drop in their economic performance.